What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey, coming to you with the third video for today, which is going to be the return of Underground. You guys, this is season 2 of Underground, and I am doing this review by request and because I was completely riveted by this show, the first season. One of the executive producers is John Legend, and just the musical score alone, the soundtrack for this show alone, to me is worth the watch. If you guys have not had the opportunity or have not been introduced to Underground, it is all about the Underground Railroad and that whole movement. The soundtrack is set to modern day music, which I love. The cast is beautifully done. In this first episode, we are introduced to some new characters, one of which is played by Bokeem Woodbine, and I've had a thing for him since Soul Food, so yeah. Um, this episode opens beautifully, you guys. So before we get started with this review, you know the routine. Um, First of all, I feel like I'm going to review and have those same emotional feelings for Underground, which is why one of the reasons why I didn't know how I was going to do reviewing it, because it is an emotional show. It is emotional for a lot of reasons. One, obviously, I'm African American, and two, obviously, the story is full of tales of hate and murder and abuse, and just reliving that, um, and that always sort of being the narrative, um, can be a little depressing, in all honesty. So I wasn't really sure how I was going to do. But we're gonna muddle through this. We're gonna get through this, and I'm hoping that this show will open the eyes and the hearts of a lot of different people of a lot of different cultures, just to see what our point of view as a people, as a culture is, on how we're treated. We were treated back then, and how we're treated in this current day setting. So again, before we get going real good, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. You like this show, you like this content, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. And also, please remember to comment down below. I read every comment, I try to respond to it, and I love healthy debate. So let's let's build this community and let's have the discussion, okay? So let's talk about it. Underground season 2, episode 1. This episode is called Contraband. Um, the show opens with a character whom we are not sure what the character's name is. We know that the role is being played by Bokeem Woodbine, and he is a masoner, a stone sculptor. We see a large slab of beautiful white stone being lowered down, and we see him begin to hammer. He builds this wonderful, beautiful, elegant sculpture, and it's indicative of who our people are as craftsmen, as master craftsmen. It's a proud moment. We see him collecting money from one Caucasian male for this sculpture, and then standing outside of another Caucasian male's plantation house, and the man walks out without a word, without so much as a head nod, and takes the money from Bokeem Woodbine's character, goes back inside and slams the door. Now, so we know from this that Bokeem is the worker, He does all the work, the stonework, and then that stonework is sold to another white man from his master, and he does all the work, and his master takes all the money. So, um, he's property. He's no different than a tractor or a hoe or a shovel. He's just a tool to be used. He's not seen as human at all. And so this is our first moment, gut wrenching moment when we see this. Until, there was this moment of light and of hope when we see him now return home after having been gone all day, after having worked all day at this arduous task, and climbs up into his bunk. And we see that he has throughout the day collected little pieces of paper with writings and articles and newspapers that he's found along the way. He's smuggled them away, and he's teaching himself to read by candlelight. And so there is this moment where we realize, oh yeah, there is this foot that's on his neck, this proverbial foot that is continually on his neck. But at the same time, there's the seed of hope, because he is teaching himself. He is preparing himself for the day when that foot will be removed, and he can have freedom. He can live in freedom as a a human, as a viable human. So yeah, it was a good scene. I'm looking for more from this character. Like I said, I love Bokeem Woodbine, and so yeah, I'm excited. So then what else do we see? We see Rosalie. Oh, she has been running. She's been running since last season. Ever since she saved her brother from that strap, that man's strap, she has been running. So we see her running. She seems a little bit more mature, a little bit more knowledge, and she's with the woman named Moses. We know who Moses is, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We know who Moses is, right? She's led our people to freedom, right? Okay, okay. I'm excited. Now, I'm gonna do a little bit more research, figure out who this character is, who this actor is who is playing Moses. But baby, when I tell you she's a bad mama jamma. Ah, yes, hush your mouth. Oh, so Rosalie is running. The slave she's trying to help to freedom, he trips and falls and breaks his ankle. The bounty hunters are right on him. Of course, they're on horses. They're right on top of him. And so Rosalie sends the broken foot off into the woods, and she stands there. You know how Rosalie is. She's a protector. What I'm saying, she can handle herself. So she puts her hands up. Now, it's a part of her that's scared, but she's not really that scared. This is a part of the act. You know what I'm saying? Because she knows she got something for these jokers. So she's, and he's threatening her. He's got the gun right on her. He's going to get her. He's going to get her real good. And she said, please, oh, please, yeah, you. And, he wants to know where this other guy is, this broken ankle guy. And she says, listen, his ankle is broke. He's going to slow you down. You don't want to deal with him. Just let us go and take me. Then, in this moment, we see Moses appear, and she got an axe in one hand. She pointing to this horseman over here, and she got a shotgun in the other hand. She pointing to this horseman over here, and she let him know what we gonna do. Tell you what, I'll give you $5 right now. Okay, $5 for each of y'all. Y'all going about y'all way. The guy said, I don't need your money. You know what I'm saying? There's pride, because you need the money, obviously. Or you wouldn't be trapping humans. You wouldn't be tracking humans. All right. You need the money, but you ain't finna let number one this Negro tell you what to do and control you. And two, you ain't finna let no Negro woman. She said, but listen, I got an axe here. And my dad, it'll do fine work on wood. My daddy showed me how to make quick work of a tree with this axe. I imagine that skin won't be no problem. All right. And so in the time it take them to listen to her, get them a cool, slick threat, and let them know it's gonna go one or two ways. All right, y'all either gonna take this $10 and go on about y'all way, or I'm finna lay waste to both of you mother suckers right here. In that time, Jersey pulls out. I mean, Rosalie pulls out a gun. Sorry, y'all. I just did Black Ink Crew. But anyway, Rosalie pulls out a gun and she lets them know this really is your only option. So that was a really, really good moment because we get to see Moses. We get to see um, this Harriet Tubman character that is standing tall, that is self assured, that is smart, that is cunning. Okay, just as smart, smarter than these two killers, these two savages. Um, on horse, and she is confident, every bit as confident as a man, and every bit as confident as a free white man. She is confident, and she's a bad mama jamma. Oh, she one tough sister. So flashback, then we see the attorney, John, who worked very, very hard with his wife Elizabeth to bring slaves from the South to the North, hide them, build a network, the whole nine. And he's fighting to keep Noah in the North by telling the court that he wants to send Noah back to the South. Now Noah has been in jail, in prison for 5 months now, and he's been fighting this whole time to get him sent back to his property, and his property, to get him sent back to the South. But he really wants to get Noah on this transport so that they can hold the transport up and then take Noah off of it. So this is a plan of Elizabeth, Rosalie, and John, the attorney. So they're having different arguments about it, and he's claiming that Noah is the property of someone else. So this is my property. I want my property back. So we see then that Rosalie is now safe and sound, and the person that she's talking to there, the John, the attorney, they are talking about what they're trying to do for Noah, how he's trying to get her out. He feels like this is going to happen. He feels like the law is on his side. Okay, so they realize now that this gentleman's broken his ankle, and this one runaway, and he's not going to be able to move forward. Also, there might be some infection setting in, so she goes to tell Moses about it, and Moses is like, he dead weight, and so she wants to hang back and try and wait on Noah, and Moses like, we got work to do. Moses has lost someone, John, who I imagine she felt the same way about John as Rosalie feels about Noah, and that didn't work out so well. And so she has built up a cast iron shell around her heart. So although she understands what Rosalie is going through, she feels like Rosalie is going to end up just like her, and she wants to tell Rosalie at every turn that this is an exercise in futility. He's not your family. If you want to save your family, if you want to get your family out, you need to go back with me, and we need to get this done. And Rosalie does not want to move without Noah. And we already know from season 1 that Rosalie ain't going nowhere without Noah. So then we go back in Carolina, and this is the first time we get to see Rosalie's mom, mama since she was sold back into slavery by her last master's wife. Um, Now we also remember that Rosalie's mom did a whole lot to protect Rosalie when her and Noah ran off. Rosalie lost her brother. Sam was hung in a very gruesome way. Not like there's no other way to hang somebody, but in a gruesome way. But it was a spectacle how he was hung. He was hung in the middle of a parlor in front of white folks. And Rosalie's mama, Rosalie's youngest son, who was her master's father, um, her master's the child that she had with her master, the one that she in turn hung, Rosalie's mama in turn hung for hanging Sam. He has been sold off somewhere else. And Rosalie's gone. Sam has been hung. He's dead. And this all the things that she's done to protect Rosalie while she's out there on that road with the massa has come back to haunt her, including killing one of the runaway slaves, that one of the Macon seven that left out, um, killing his wife to keep her from telling where they were going. Um, and so we see her. She's a beautiful woman. She's self-medicating. She is, I think it's ether that she is pouring into a hanky, and she is smelling it as she goes out for work during the day. And during the day, every time they stop for a break, she's putting this hanky in front of her face and breathing in these ether fumes, and it's keeping her high. And one of the reasons why she wants to stay high, she's working on in a rice field, by the way. So a lot of people don't know about Carolina. Uh, Carolina is known for the rice fields, and we see that within the Gullah people, which are coastal people, in the southern hemisphere, like Savannah, Hilton Head, that type of area. The Tybee Island, we see the Gullah people. So I imagine that's where they are because it's a rice field, muddy field. They're digging through it. She's getting high because she keeps seeing this woman that she killed, a woman that I think maybe she might have considered a friend. And it was a brutal thing that she did, brutal thing, and it's haunting her. So she getting high because she's seen a baby killed, her son. Her other son has been taken away, her youngest boy. She don't know if Rosalie is dead or alive, and she's been sold into slavery, and so she's self-medicating like you would not believe. She looks bad, and she's in a bad way. Um, Then we see Noah being inspected. He's in good shape, like property. The guy's got hands are filthy, and he's digging all through his mouth and looking at his eyes and show me your feet. Noah is naked, and people are just standing around like he cattle. The same thing you would do to a cow to check a cow out is what they're doing to this man. It's very, very disheartening. And if you're not up on your prayers and your faith in God to keep you from turning into a person that a hard-hearted person, then seeing this over and over again, this narrative over and over again, and not being able to put it in perspective and not being able to compartmentalize it, it's hard on a person. It's hard on a person to see how your ancestors was treated. But let's not dig too deep. So we see Rosalie working as a nurse. And as a nurse, Rosalie is very smart. She's very cunning. She much like her mama. And she sees the opportunity working as a nurse to steal the keys and get some medicine. She gets some medicine to help this man to get better so they can get back on the road, because in just a few short days, hopefully, Noah will be out. And then we cut back, we see Elizabeth, who is John the lawyer's wife, and she's going to meet someone along the chain. Now, they got a chain of Caucasians that are helping in the north, that are helping the slaves all along the path. They all have a purpose that they serve, they all believe, and they all secretly are helping. So now we get to see some tools that they use It as code speak for what's going on. You get a brown basket with the red cloth, and in that red cloth there's eggs. The red cloth says, I'm here about something. The eggs tell you, the number of eggs tell you what time to meet. And then when you go and you meet the person, they pull out, you say, I'm here about blah, 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 some code lingo, and they put out 3 photos. And if you could name the 3 people in that photo, which are African Americans, historical African Americans, or Africans, people of color, then that's your final test. So she does that. They take her to the back where there is black women and there are white women, and it's supposed to be a sewing circle, but they really practice they shooting. Okay, they have intelligent conversation. They're smart women. They about their business. Okay, their men might be the heads, but they the necks. Okay, and so they get her prepared. Welcome to the sewing circle. So that was a good scene. Um, Then we see Noah. He's in the yard. He sees 2 other slaves in the yard, and he knows that they're up to something. They're about to, attack a guard, try to overthrow the guard, and then run. And he thwarts the whole situation. And they wondering why they're upset, of course, and he lets them know, because I'm escaping, and y'all gonna mess it up for everybody. And in this moment, we see how smart Noah is. He's noticed everything. He knows that there's a guard, extra guard there. He noticed that the guard smokes. He's seen the cigarette ash. He's counted them out. He knows that there is a police department right across the street from there. All of that. And he's a very intense character. He's serious. He's like the male version of Moses. Very intense, very purposeful. He's on a mission. And he talks these other 2 gentlemen into holding that hold it, because in a couple of days, tomorrow I'm gonna be taking on a transport back to Georgia, and then I'm gonna break free. So I mean, they're with him. So we see the we go back to the sewing circle. No, we go back to North Carolina, and in North Carolina, we see that the Rosalie's mom is a part of this, this crew that's, digging up the rice field. The master has them all standing up there. He wants to tell them that he has promised this other white man that he will have their field clear, and he wants to know how long it's going to take. And Rosalie's man is the guy that's ahead of everything. I think the slave that's ahead of everything, which may or may not be Rosalie's man. I can't remember. Rosalie's mom's man. Says about 4 weeks, and he says no, you need to have it done in 4 days. And so for sure, Rosalie's mom's boyfriend says we already got a small crew. It's not going to be possible. And then at that moment, the white guy comes over and he hits him hard and knocks him to his knees. And Rosalie's mom is standing there that whole time. She's watching this whole thing transpire. And he's spitting blood. The guy gives him a reprimand. He turns his head and he sees Rosalie's mom. Okay. So next we see the sewing circle, and they out practicing shooting, and they shooting at spoons. Okay, so that means they dead on shots to shoot at a spoon and hit it every time. And they're having conversation about how they can bring awareness to northern homes More importantly, Caucasians in the North, bringing it straight to their door, the brutality of how Negroes in the South are being treated. This is important because the more people that are outraged, the more people that know how Negroes in the South are treated, the more people there are to speak up against the act. So this is their plan. This is how they plan to affect change with the cause from their end. Meanwhile, they still all dead on shots, and they teach Elizabeth how to shoot dead on as well. Very, very smart clan of ladies. Um, so then we see Attorney John, and he loses his motion to the judge. The judge is not hearing it. We're going to hang this Negro here now because he killed a person here, and we're going to hang him now. First thing tomorrow, this is being done. John, the attorney, protests. He gets put immediately into contempt. And we see Rosalie up top watching the whole thing in the courtroom, and she looks devastated. She had every plan on, really had invested a lot in this plan on getting him off this wagon transport when they were taking him back to Georgia. And now how are they going to help Noah? So then we see Rosalie, Elizabeth, and Attorney John, her husband, talking about to another about how they're going to get Noah back. But prior to that, she expresses, "This is what you told me was going to happen. You assured me." And he said, "No, it's the law." And they filed a motion, and she just let him know, look. The laws don't apply to black people. There's no fairness when it comes to how we're treated. There's no justice when it comes to how we're treated. And it's a moment. It's a moment where Elizabeth and John see and they understand, even when it's against the law for them to do so, they would rather break the law than treat a black person with any type of respect, than to uphold the law and see that the black person, comes up or wins in any type of way. So they make a plan right then and there, all three of them, that what they're going to do is they are going to wait till they take Noah to the gallows, and that is where they are going to plan to break him free. Okay, so then we see Noah back in jail, and the other slaves are talking to two men that he stopped from jumping on the guard, and they're talking about what they're gonna do when they get out to freedom. Again, there's always this sense of looking for hope, hoping for the future, hoping that there is a better place. I heard that there's a better place. This, for as many people that feel like this is it, this is all we have, I'm not going to run. There's that many more people out there that says there's a better place, there's a better way out there, there's a better place for me. This isn't it. And they are all continually striving and trying to get out of this whole situation. And so it's a good moment. They say to Noah, "What you gonna do when you get your freedom?" And he says, it's not about a place anymore. He's got that Moses mindset. It's not about being somewhere. It's about being able to be anywhere I want to be and be treated like a human. Okay? So this we're back in North Carolina, despite the fact that they got the next day they gotta get this, work doubly hard to till the soil they're on and somebody else's field, clear somebody else's field, and they are already dog tired. True African American fashion, they rally enough strength to dance and sing and party because someone's getting married. It's a celebratory event, so they put all things behind them and they are celebrating. And it's a um celebratory moment. There's a lot of jubilee there. We see once again Rosalie's mom sees this woman that she brutally killed, and we see her bitterness. We see her she's just depressed and despondent, and she's just a real shallow version of her old self. So we see her making love to this man that she's living with in the woods. Y'all know she's a vibrant, beautiful woman. And so that's a moment. Then we go back and we see Elizabeth and her husband, John the lawyer, are talking about his brother and the horrific moment that his brother hung Sam, Rosalie's brother, in the parlor of his home, of the brother's home, and how cruel it was and how horrible it was. And the conversation that Rosalie had had with him earlier about justice, being only for the white man. And he makes a decision. How can I make a change if I'm not on the inside making those changes? And so he decides to run for a public office. And she supports him. She thinks it's a good idea because he can do a lot more from that position in terms of changing the laws. And so, it seems like a good idea. Um, it's going to be great. Moving on. We see them then roughing up Noah, preparing to take him to the gallows. Um, and we see people standing around selling wares, selling, you know, snacks and things. They treat the hanging of these men like Mardi Gras, like a carnival, like a fair. It's like get your hot popcorn, your peanuts, ice cold beer. It's an event. It's a jovial event, and it just reminds me of the pictures that we've seen of slaves being beat and hung, and children standing there smiling. Little small children, Caucasian children standing there smiling, completely unaware of the brutality and the murder that they're witnessing, completely oblivious to it. That's kind of what that reminds me of. So we see back in North Carolina, Rosalie's mama, her man is smarting off with the white guy again, and the white guy kicks and beats him again. He comes up and sits at the table with Rosalie's mama, and he said he's sick of rice, and she said stop eating it. And at that moment, he backhands and hits her. And when she falls to the floor, we can see other little scars that she got on her, which may be from being a slave, working in the field, or it may be from this man beating her. I mean, she don't say a word. She hits that floor and he walks out past her like, mm. So we see that this white man is beating him, and he in turn turning around and beating her. Okay? Can't beat the white man, so he beat his woman. To me, it's obvious, and it just blows me away when other people of other cultures don't see just how our men have been, African American men have been set up to fail. The mental stress and strain, the fracturing that has happened on the black male's mental psyche. Um, to me, it's apparent, but in this moment, we see her go up underneath the table and get her another bottle of ether out and puts it on a rag and sniffs. And her her continual ghost, which is this woman that she brutally killed. Now this time, instead of standing afar off, she is right up on Rosalie's mom, and she goes through it. She goes through it. You're not so uppity now. You're not so suchy muchy now. Shout out to my grandmama. Okay. You this how you intend to live? You letting this man beat you and whip you up one side and down this cabin. You still watch Sam die, your other son being sold off, and you don't know where your gal is. I mean, she rides her hard. She rides her hard. You need to go ahead and do it. You need to go ahead and do it. She's trying to talk Rosalie's this spirit, this unconscious guilt is trying to talk Rosalie's mom into killing herself. And it's a moment. It's a moment. So we see Noah's at the noose, and the guy asked him if he had any last words, and Noah looked at that man like, are you serious? First of all, y'all don't even let us read, let alone talk. Second of all, what y'all gonna do with the last words? Laugh at it? I wouldn't give y'all the satisfaction of hearing my voice. That's how he looked at him. If you don't get the hell and do whatever it is you gonna do. Okay. Then he hears whistling. He knows it's Rosalie. He looks, hope, 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 and he sees her. It's a beautiful moment. Rosalie causes a distraction by setting a fire, and there's all these explosions, including at the gallows, and they all, you know, are able to get free. There is a wagon there to scoop them up. Noah, all he has to do is hop in the wagon and let's go. But instead, he calls the other two men over, the other two slaves that was in jail with him, to get into the wagon too, and they all get carted off. Meanwhile, as the men get on the horse to take Noah, I mean to go after Noah and those, the sewing circle comes in with their banners to block the way. So they're riding down the road, they're getting it, 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 getting it. And the horsemen are right behind him. Noah's shooting. He's hitting a couple of two, three of them. They somehow get someone on top of the wagon, one of the horsemen. He wrestles with Noah and knocks Noah's Noah gone off. The men are gone. The driver of that wagon is killing one of the horsemen off. Rosalie's like, "Where's Noah? Where's Noah?" And she realizes Noah was taken by these horsemen. And it's at this moment that Rosalie is really at her breaking point. I mean, she's thinking to herself that everything that Moses has told her is happening. It can't be. This isn't right. No. Uh. In this next scene, we see that Elizabeth and Attorney John are in the public official's office, and he is signing up for this office that he wants to run in. And they're coming outside and they're holding hands and they're feeling proud. They're feeling like this is something that is really going to make impact. And someone calls his name out, John Holt. And when he looks up, a white man on a horse shoots him in the head and kills him right in front of Elizabeth. It's a hard moment. It's a hard moment to see. One, it's a hard moment and it's a surprising moment. One, because we weren't expecting it naturally. And two, because this is a white man that's killed by another white man. I mean, we've gotten sort of used to seeing black people being killed, but this is a white man being killed, and it's an odd set of circumstances and tragic. We've grown to feel like Attorney John, is family, and so this is a hard pill to swallow. Now, when this whole scene is going on, Rosalie's contemplation and then the ultimate murder of John, the attorney. John Legend is in the background singing a song called In America, and it is a beautiful song. A absolutely beautiful song. And that is how the episode ends, you guys. I know that this review was a little long, but until I get my rhythm with this, it's probably going to be about 30 minutes, and I hope you guys bear with me. I really, really want to do this show justice. It's a little bit more difficult to review shows of this nature in a super, super quick fashion. So hopefully you guys will bear with me. Remember to subscribe down below. Remember to give me a thumbs up. Remember to comment. Let me know, are you guys excited about the show being back? Are you excited about our characters? Are you excited about the new characters that are being introduced? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, honeybees, I'll holla.